Hello spice lovers and pepperheads, this is Jared from Motherboard Genetics back again for another pepper taste test and review. Today we have the striped variety of the Sugar Rush Peach. Now the Sugar Rush Peach is a increasingly popular variety. It's kind of blown up in the last few years because it's extremely productive, easy to grow, it's disease resistant, and the flavor is just great without having an utterly overwhelming spice level. So it's kind of, in a lot of people's eyes, the perfect pepper. Well, I didn't have knowledge of this before it happened for me, but I guess there's a semi-common mutation that happens in the Sugar Rush Peach variety that causes it to become striped. And that's what we have with this one. So over the last few years, I thought that maybe I had a rare mutation, and so I started to stabilize it. Didn't know what to name it. But then the more I looked into it, I figured out that this is actually not, it's not common, but it's not as uncommon as I had been believing beforehand. And so there's another variety that has been in the works of being stabilized called the Mr. Stripey, aptly named. This is my own in-house stabilization, so while it may be similar, there might be some different traits that are in my stabilized line versus a Mr. Stripey from someone else's genetic line. From what I've seen, the stripes tend to be darker on mine. If that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. But today we're going to be doing a taste test and review. We're going to review the look, the smell, the taste, and of course, the heat level. Now, these are believed to be from a Capsicum bacatum, an ahi family, just an accidental cross, and I tend to believe that. It resembles a lot of the ahi varieties. It's got a very similar shape, similar color, and the taste from the Sugar Rush Peach that I've had, and I've actually tried these before, is very similar to ahi varieties. Very tropical, a little bit vegetal, kind of mix of both, a little smoky as well. So we're going to be trying it out today. First off, let's talk about the look. It is a deep but light orange, if that makes sense. It's a bold color, but it's not a dark orange, and then it's juxtaposed by this red-orange stripe going through it. I'll put some pictures up on the screen and some video, but there's large stripes. Most of them, after a few years of stabilization, are coming out striped now, but some on the plant still do turn regular solid orange. So I've been only saving the seeds of the striped ones. They look cooler. Haven't really detected a difference in flavor or anything between the striped and the non-striped, so it's purely aesthetic, but you know, a lot of the times, that's the first thing that catches our eye, because can't taste it until we try it. So if you see one that's cool, kind of like the last review I did of the so purple it's basically black pepper, that catches a lot of people's attention because it's abnormal from a green or red jalapeno that you normally see in a store, or even just a plain red habanero. So now that we've talked about the looks, let's give it a little smell, see what we can pick up, if anything. Smells almost identical to how I just described it. It's tropical, so it's got kind of that habanero, not like a jalapeno smell, which is quintessential pepper smell. It's got a more floral, tropical kind of smell, kind of fruity for a pepper, and the ahi varieties kind of tend to have that flavor, which is why it's very believable that this is an accidental ahi cross that just was a happy accident. So I will say the vegetal flavor that I was talking about comes through in the smell as well. You get this fruity, almost peachy smell, but then in the background, it kind of smells like if anyone's ever done yard work, not grass clippings, but you're chopping through like a big branch or something, and it's kind of got that woody, just vegetation smell. That's in the background. It's mostly fruity, but you do still get a lot of that kind of vegetal smell. But overall, it smells fantastic. This would be amazing to throw into a salsa. Habaneros lend themselves well to salsa. That's why you always see habanero salsa, because they're so fruity and floral, and it lends itself to accenting a salsa really well. And that's why you see a lot of mango habanero, because they pair super duper well. This is no different. On the Scoville scale, before I get in and give my subjective perception of the taste or the heat, on the Scoville scale, these are, I believe, between 50 and 100,000, which on the high end, on the 100,000 end, is still about a third of a habanero. So if habaneros are too hot for you, but you like the flavor, these might be a great bet. There's another variety called the habanada that someone created. They basically bred out almost all of the heat from a habanero, so those are a great choice too. But if you want to preserve a little bit of the kick, you just don't want to be cramping right after you eat the tacos with the salsa on it, this might be a great choice for you as far as growing peppers, and it's also extremely productive. I'll put some pictures up on the screen of one of the tester plants. It's representative of basically all of them. It produces all year long, or all season long, I should say. And here in Central California, we have a pretty long season, given that our winter doesn't get frosty for a long time compared to other areas in the United States. So this plant's been producing all year since, I would say, late April. And I did start them early, but still, tons of peppers, really high nutritional value. It's a great one to have as a staple in your garden if you are able to handle a little bit of heat. So let's get on to the spice and the taste. Now, I had this caveat the last video, and I bet it was in part joking, but I talked about how I sliced off the top to get rid of the seeds or preserve the seeds, but that I was going to eat the top because it has the highest concentration of pith, which is where all the spice is. So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I'm getting most of the spice of this pepper. People can't really complain, right? Well, someone commented, why didn't you eat the whole thing? And I kind of knew that was going to happen. That's the whole reason I tried to give the caveat in the video, but I get it. Unless I eat the whole thing, I'm not really doing it right? Okay, so I got the whole pepper this time. I did cut off the top so that I could preserve the seeds. I got almost all of them out, but I have the top and the rest of the pepper. Now this is a pretty big pepper. I don't know if you can see in relation to my hand here. You know, it's relatively big pepper. So I'm going to be munching on this thing for quite a bit, but you do what you do for the video, right? So without further ado, here we go. First I'll do the top with the most spice, just get it out of the way, get it over with, and then I'll munch on the rest and do it for science. So cheers. If you're eating a pepper along with me, here we go. Immediately very sweet, unbelievably sweet for a pepper. Would be so good in salsa. It's almost like I'm eating a fruit that developed spice with it. And it does have spice, let me tell you. Let's keep going. Let's crack this Coke. Got another one. It's actually unbelievable how fruity this pepper tastes. If you removed all of the spice, because it's obviously a dead giveaway that it's a pepper when there's spice. I'm already sniffling. If you removed all of the spice and just had me take a bite of this, texture aside, you only factor in flavor, I would say that this is a fruit, not a pepper. And I know technically pepper is a fruit, but a colloquial fruit, like a peach or a nectarine. Definitely has some spice. It ramps up quick, and then it kind of plateaus very quickly, which I appreciate. Still have more to go, so let's keep going. See some seeds in the bottom that I missed. Feel it hitting the bottom of the stomach, but nothing unbearable. Some varieties of pepper, for whatever reason, as soon as they hit the bottom of your stomach, you are cramping, you're in pain, regretting all of your life choices up to that moment. Not this one, honestly. Like I said in the last video, I have quite a bit of spice tolerance, but I would say diluted, not just chomping on an entire pepper, diluted, someone with even a relatively low spice tolerance could handle this. You finally dice it, throw a couple pieces onto a taco. I feel like even people who don't like spice could get through it. They might not enjoy it, but they would be able to handle it. And if you at all enjoy even jalapeno spice, you'll like this. Just take it in a little bit more moderation. Let's eat the last bite. It's actually so good. Like, never really sat here and munched on one like this. I always add them to stuff. Chew and swallow before you talk, Jared. That's rude. So I always add them to stuff. Never really sat there and munched on it. I've taken slices and eaten them, but it kind of changed my perspective on it. I haven't really experienced just how fruity it is from just eating large portions at a time. I am sweating. Almost anything will make me sweat, especially outside. It's like 90 degrees still as it's, 5:41 in the afternoon. California Valley gets hot, so, it's hot, but I wasn't really sweating before. Now I am, but I'm not dripping snot and sweat, just like the last one. This is definitely less heat than the last pepper that I did, the chocolate boot, very purple looking one. But I ate a lot more of this one, so it's still kind of getting me. But overall, super bearable. Like, I'm able to compose my thoughts, even with my high spice tolerance, I will say. You give me a Carolina Reaper or anything even close to that spice level, I'm going to be off camera, pacing. I'm no Smokin' Ed. If you don't know who that is, Smokin' Ed Curry, pepper maniac, that dude, I don't know how he does it. He can just eat peppers on camera, compose himself, articulate his thoughts. That would not be me with a Carolina Reaper. Now, this one, it's already subsiding. It's been 2-3 minutes, not even, since I finished the last little bit. Already subsiding. Exactly like what I was saying beforehand from my previous experience. Utterly perfect in like a fruity salsa, a pineapple salsa, or a peach mango salsa, or whatever your heart desires. If it's going to be a fruity salsa, perfect for that. Slice it up, throw it on tacos. It'll add a really nice flavor and subtle heat. So I think that this is a great, I wouldn't say beginner pepper for people who are trying to increase their spice tolerance, but if you already like spice, you just don't consider yourself like a pepperhead or a spice freak, this would be a great one to kind of ease yourself in. Not to mention the fact that if you want to grow it in your garden, it's super productive. So I would say overall, this is just a fantastic pepper to have in the rotation. It's very hardy, resistant to our hot California weather, disease resistant, tastes fantastic, very prolific. The spice level isn't off the charts to where you can't feasibly use it in anything. Some of these super hots, even if they taste fantastic, which I would argue How are you going to taste it if you're literally like melting your taste buds off? But for the sake of argument, even if they taste fantastic, if you're pushing 2-3 million Scoville, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to slice it up into like microscopic pieces and add it to a taco? That way you're not overdosing yourself with spice? No. You need stuff with moderation. Those are good for extractions and, just pushing the boundaries. But as far as actual usability, I would say the Sugar Rush Peach, and specifically the Mr. Stripey variety, is just one of the best I've ever encountered. Ahi varieties are some of my favorites. The Ahi Charapita, very hard to grow. I'm working on trying to make an easier to grow version of it. But it's this little Peruvian pepper, and it's even fruitier than the Sugar Rush Peach. But it makes these tiny little ball, smaller than a grape, peppers, hundreds if not thousands of them, depending on how big your plant is, and they taste phenomenal, and they pack a punch. And then there's the Aji Amarillo, which tastes like a lemon. I'm not going to ramble too much about it, but the fact that this is an aji variety, you're going to get a great flavor. Perfect for throwing into a dish really quick, accenting. If you like to put them on your salad like I do, throw it on top of a salad. Make it into a salsa, throw it on tacos. Very versatile. And like I said, utterly prolific. I just realized I haven't even sipped my Coke, which kind of lends credence to the fact that it's not that hot. I was able to get through it, swallow through it, just kind of sweat a little bit. And I'll take my first sip. And that basically neutralized all of it. I'm not even kidding. There was like a lingering spice, but like I said, it kind of ramped up and then immediately left, which is nice. And that just got rid of it completely. It's almost like I never ate the pepper. So, thank you for watching this taste test and review of the striped variety of the Sugar Rush Peach pepper. Tune in for more pepper reviews. Subscribe for more pepper-related content. I'm going to be putting out a lot more. I've been focusing on peppers, but at Motherboard Genetics, we do a variety of plants. I love to work with tomatoes as well, and I'll start doing some reviews on some of my tomatoes because I think that I've created some very cool varieties that not only taste great, but look really, really cool. So if you're into making a salad and wowing your friends, some of these are insanely cool looking. So definitely check out this pepper. Head on over to motherboardgenetics.com and check out what we have. The website is in progress as of right now, but we're adding more and more every day as we catalog whether or not these are stable enough to start selling. And tune in for more. Subscribe, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. I hope you learned something today, and if you're a fellow pepperhead, leave a comment below. I try to respond to everything. I love other people's perspectives, their knowledge, everything. So, thank you for watching.